the Iranians have backed out from a ceasefire with the Americans. And rumor has it that Iran now has at least one nuke, if not a couple. It is to be speculated as to where they got them from. But the fact remains that the Iranians have suggested to the American foreign minister, or rather the Secretary of State, that in case the bombing carries on in South Lebanon and in Beirut, and if destruction carries on in Gaza, then there will be a demonstration of this nuke by the Iranians. So naturally, the terms of engagement have gone topsy-turvy. However, for me, the more spine-chilling news is the front page of the Financial Times today. I have checked all the editions, the UK, the Middle East, Asian, the American, and also the European edition. Each one of them carries a front page top news of the Ebola virus scare. And the suggestion is, or rather the news is, that 3 vaccines are being rolled out and will be fast-tracked into clinical trials. But what is more disturbing is the fact that both in the front page and in an opinion piece on page number 20 is the fact that other potential medicines will be checked out using a no-frills protocol that identified remdesivir as a life-saving drug against COVID. Now, in the opinion piece, this is again repeated that remdesivir speeded recovery in COVID patients. Now, this is scary. This sends a shudder down one's spine, because the fact is, and I will cite the particular study. This was a randomized study supported by the NIH, by NIAID, which was under Fauci, by the WHO, and by the government of DRC, that is the Democratic Republic of Congo. This was a randomized trial in which 4 treatment modalities were used in 681 patients with Ebola. And one of them was remdesivir. And in patients in which remdesivir was used, the mortality was more than 50%. In fact, in the patients in which remdesivir was used, who had a high viral load as assessed by the CT, or the cycle threshold, of less than 22, the mortality was more than 80%. And because of this, and because of the results during COVID with remdesivir in patients who had been admitted with COVID, the WHO issued a guideline which suggested that remdesivir should not be used. I repeat, the WHO recommended that remdesivir not to be used in any patient of COVID in a hospital, regardless of the severity, because there was no reduction in mortality, nor was there any difference in clinical outcomes as compared to placebo. Now, here we have this newspaper, which is one of the prominent newspapers of the world. I checked, it is owned currently by a Japanese group called Nikkei. And the fact remains that today, in its front page, it talks about Ebola, it talks about vaccines which will be used in Ebola, and they have an opinion piece in page number 20. And here, this is a longish piece, and again the piece keeps on highlighting the fact that vaccines and treatments are being developed for Ebola because of the fact that there is an outbreak, which is the biggest outbreak ever in Uganda, in the DRC, particularly in the DRC, Uganda, and I think Somalia, or Somalia. And apparently 1,000 people have been infected, more than 130 or almost 150 people have died because of Ebola. This Ebola is a different strain. The earlier outbreaks had been because of the Zaire strain, and this one is the Bundibugyo strain. And Bundibugyo is a place, a village in Uganda. And because of this, there is an opinion amongst scientists, particularly in Oxford, that this particular outbreak will not fizzle out. So therefore, we must have a vaccine as quickly as possible. There are already 3 vaccines in the making. One is being made by Moderna in collaboration with a South Korean company, and this will be a messenger RNA vaccine. One vaccine would be the DNA vector vaccine, and here, this vaccine will be made by AstraZeneca in combination with an Indian company, the Serum Institute in Pune. So, the unsurprising thing in this opinion piece is that whenever management of Ebola is mentioned in this piece, always the phrase vaccines and treatment comes. Vaccines are always mentioned initially, and then other treatment modalities. And as I have said, the opinion piece again talks of remdesivir as a lifesaver and as a drug which speeded recovery. We know that remdesivir was a very dangerous drug, and remdesivir, particularly in Ebola, is extremely toxic. It is extremely dangerous to be used in Ebola. So, this concept of a no-frills protocol to be employed by other medicines is a bit risky. So, I will end by saying that we already have a large regional war between the Americans, Israelis, and the Iranians, and this is showing no signs of being terminated, of being stopped, and the concerning news is that the Iranians have a nuke with them. We don't know, the public doesn't know where this particular nuke came from, where the components have been supplied by different countries, but the fact is that the Iranians are in no mood for a ceasefire with the Americans or with the Israelis. And I wonder, because I wonder what is the role of the Financial Times. What, of course, it is a mainstream newspaper. It is definitely controlled by the globalists, by the elites of the world, but it keeps, ramping up the scaremongering, particularly because a few weeks back it had once again a front page story with the hantavirus, and I think I have tweeted on this. I don't remember right now, but the situation is not improving. The situation in the world continues to be very volatile and very turbulent, and if you throw in a virus in this quagmire, there could be serious problems. And another thing which is interesting is the fact that just before this outbreak in the Congo, we had this scientist called Vincent Munster, who was caught smuggling in viruses into America, and it would be enough to tell you that Vincent Munster is a Dutch gentleman who works in Montana in the Rocky Mountain Labs. He is an expert in a technique called passaging, and by this technique you can make a virus which is not airborne. You can make this virus airborne. So therefore, the fact that this particular scientist was caught smuggling in various viruses into America just before this outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo is a very disturbing bit of news, particularly because the authorities, the people at the airport know where he works. None of them have disclosed as to what were the pathogens that were being carried by Winston.